What if you got trapped in a tunnel where there was no way out? A place where 1 hour outside equals a whole week in the real world. And what if that place didn't just distort time, but started consuming your memories too? Could you ever make it out alive? That's exactly what happens to a group of people who, chasing a shortcut, stumble into a dangerous tunnel and never come out the same. If they come out at all, the story begins with a woman whose car breaks down on a deserted road during a rainy night. She's all alone, waiting helplessly for someone to help her. Just then, a man appears. He looks charming and acts polite, immediately gaining her trust. Thinking he's a good Samaritan, she gets into his car. But as they drive a little further, she notices something horrifying. There's a body lying in the back of his car. What she doesn't realize yet is that she's walked straight into a deadly trap. The man she trusted isn't just any stranger, he's a serial killer. And before she can even defend herself, he attacks her with a tool. The scene then jumps forward a week. A bus is traveling along the same road where that killer claimed the woman's life. On board is a passenger named Wong, an insurance agent. Who's discussing the case with the bus driver? Tony Wong explains that this serial killer had a horrifying pattern. After killing women, he would cut off and keep parts of their bodies, most commonly the little fingers of married women. The other passengers are shocked no one had ever known this, before anyone can dwell on it. The bus radio crackles to life with a warning. There's been an accident ahead and the road is blocked. Everyone panics, time is tight, and they need to get to their destinations. So Tony takes a detour down a rough, unfamiliar path. Not long after, they reach a tunnel Tony has never seen before. As the bus moves forward, a girl on board is talking on her phone, but suddenly, she loses her temper and throws it out the window. No one pays much attention then. Just as the bus continues into the tunnel, a man appears right in front of it. Alone, in this eerie, deserted tunnel, what could he possibly be doing here? Everyone was terrified at first. But then, the man who had appeared in the tunnel somehow sneaks onto the bus as a passenger. His name was Keon. Meanwhile, we see a man named Lee sitting quietly and reading a newspaper. Suddenly, his eyes fall on a photo in the paper, Keon's photo. Lee realizes that this man is a wanted criminal. But he doesn't want to take unnecessary risks, so he says nothing. At this point, Tony has been driving the bus for over 30 minutes and they still haven't exited the tunnel. The passengers start to panic. After all, China's longest tunnel is only 11 kilometers long, which takes about 10 minutes to cross. But this tunnel, it seems endless. Finally, everyone decides they have no choice but to turn back. But even after driving at full speed for over half an hour, they're nowhere near the entrance. The tunnel stretches endlessly ahead, shrouded in darkness. Then we see the other passengers more clearly. Jing, who is pregnant, and a woman named Sarah, a model. Along with them are two siblings, Park and Fen, who are also on the bus. Terrified, they all decide to get off. At that moment, Jing spots something on the ground, her phone, which she had thrown in anger at the tunnel entrance earlier. It's now clear that this is no ordinary tunnel. Lee steps forward and says they need to try and find a way out on foot. But the darkness is so dense that anyone could easily get lost. To stay safe, Jing gives him her ball of yarn. Lee takes one end and starts moving forward, while the other end stays with Wong. Then Keon announces that he'll walk with Lee, and together, they start venturing further into the dark, endless tunnel. After some time, a thick fog settled inside the tunnel. From the other side, two shadowy figures appeared, moving toward them. Everyone braced themselves for a confrontation. But as the figures got closer, they realized it wasn't strangers at all, it was Lee and Keon. The tunnel was perfectly straight, yet somehow these people kept looping back to the same spot. They were trapped. Seeing the situation, Lee distributed all the food and water among everyone. Then the four men, Lee, Tony, Wong, and Keon, set out once again to find a way forward, while the women and children stayed behind on the bus. Soon, Jing noticed something alarming. In just 30 minutes, the bus was covered in a thick layer of dust. Panicked, she woke everyone and led them out of the bus. Meanwhile, the four men reached the same spot again. Tony discovered that all their food had rotted. It was clear now the tunnel didn't just trap them. Time here moved much faster than in the real world. Inside the bus, they noticed something else. A detailed map of the entire tunnel, left mysteriously for them to find. Lee tried to study it, but just then the lights went out, and suddenly Lee disappeared. In the spot where he had been standing, there were now bloodstains, following the trail. The others eventually reached a hollow wall. When they tapped it, it seemed as if there was a hidden passage behind it. They broke through and found themselves in a strange room filled with photographs of missing people and human hands, preserved in glass jars. The room also contained an engineering diagram of the tunnel system. According to the diagram, there were 6 interconnected tunnels in total. Keon quickly did the math to find a way out. They would have to navigate through all 6 tunnels. According to the diagram, this room held the path to the second tunnel. While exploring, they also found a strange calendar on the wall that only showed the date, July 15th. Keon immediately removed the calendar and discovered a hidden passage behind it, which led them into the second tunnel. As soon as they entered, a TV in the room suddenly turned on by itself. On the screen, a woman appeared, trapped in a small cave. Even more shocking, their bus was there too, parked in the second tunnel. But it looked like it had been sitting there for months, surrounded by a tangle of wires. None of them could make sense of what they were seeing. They hurried into the bus to search for food and supplies. By luck, they found a box filled with packets of instant noodles. Seeing this, Tony immediately took control of the food at gunpoint. Time inside the tunnel was speeding up, and everyone was growing hungry far faster than normal. Hunger quickly drove them to act almost like animals. Sarah, unable to control her impulses, offered Tony a sexual favor in exchange for the noodles. While they were caught up in this, Wong quietly grabbed a packet of noodles. Tony noticed and attacked him. As the two of them struggled, chaos erupted. Suddenly, out of nowhere, someone in the darkness stabbed Tony from behind. The rest of the group could only watch in shock. Meanwhile, Wong's noodle packet fell to the floor. As he bent down to pick it up, he noticed that, beneath the bus, they discovered a manhole. Crawling inside, they found themselves in yet another bizarre room. On the TV, the girl from the cave was slowly sinking deeper underwater. Then Keon spotted the same calendar again. Behind it was another hidden door, which led them into the third tunnel. This tunnel was even darker and eerily deserted. And once again their bus was there. But this time, it was filled with snakes, as if it had been sitting there for years. Suddenly, Wong pulled out a gun. He declared that every time someone had died before, a secret path had opened. And if taking the lives of everyone around him was the only way to survive and find the exit, he wouldn't hesitate. He forced Jing to shoot Keon in the shoulder. He dragged the 2 children into a room and began beating them, and rained bullets on Fen. He even tried to strangle Sarah to death. But before he could finish, someone attacked him from behind, ending his life. After Wong's death, a new secret passage opened, leading them into the 4th tunnel. The moment they entered, the atmosphere felt wrong. Each of them began experiencing strange hallucinations. Sarah felt an intense unease and sat down in the nearby bus. But then she started seeing bizarre figures, and terror gripped her. She ran out, only to find herself surrounded by piles of corpses. Then she noticed a mirror, and the moment she looked into it, someone struck her from behind. Meanwhile, Jing had given birth, and now Keon Park and Jing were moving forward with the newborn. But tragedy struck. The baby died along the way. The shock and grief caused Jing to lose her mental balance completely. In a shocking moment, Jing loses control and stabs Keon with a knife. But suddenly, Keon's eyes snap open and he finds himself in a secret hospital. It turns out this place isn't just a hospital, it's a military lab. Listening in on the soldiers' conversations, Keon learns the truth. The serial killer we saw at the beginning of the film is named James, and the woman who had asked him for a ride, that was Ciara. She hadn't died, James had actually kidnapped her. Later, the police managed to locate James, but while they were trying to apprehend him, his car got into an accident, sending him into a coma. That's when Keon, who is Sarah's husband, makes a bold decision. He will enter James's subconscious mind to find her. Keon is, in fact, a psychotherapist. For years, he had developed a machine capable of navigating someone else's subconscious. In other words, everything we've witnessed so far, the tunnels, the bus, the horrors, it was all inside James's mind. Keon speaks with a military general and explains. What he's seen, James's mind contains a tunnel, and Ciara is trapped in a cave-like place, slowly drowning. He figures she must be near a river, but with the heavy rains coming, all the caves around the river will flood within the next 36 hours. He also tells the officer about the recurring date he saw. July 15th, the officer explains. This was the day James's parents died. His mother was a model, his father an insurance agent. James's father discovered his wife was having an affair with their driver. In a fit of rage, he confronted her, but she killed him first, then took her own life. James himself is a tunnel engineer. During his coma, his mind created a dangerous, labyrinthian tunnel, reflection of his own trauma and psyche. Because of his childhood trauma, he developed multiple personalities. Inside his mind, this explains the bus passengers we've been following. They aren't real, they are different facets of James's. Personality Tony represented James's anger and dominant nature. Lee was his helpful, friendly side. Sarah reflected his mother's manipulative, self-serving traits. Wong mirrored his father's insurance agent persona, Bang. And Park represented his childhood fears and innocence. Jing embodied his soft yet cunning side. And then there was one more personality, the one killing everyone else. No one knew who it really was. Hearing all this, General Jian tells Keon that he needs to speak directly to James, because so far he's only been interacting with his various personalities. Keon re-enters James's mind and finally asks the crucial question, where is Ciara? But James doesn't reveal anything. Through his silence, Keon learns the truth. James only targeted women who had affairs after marriage. Killing them gave him a sense of satisfaction because his mother's extramarital affair had destroyed his childhood. He harbored a deep hatred for women like his mother, and that meant he assumed Ciara, Keon's wife, must also have been unfaithful. Keon knew nothing of this. He had been so busy with work that he hadn't been able to give Ciara the attention she deserved. For that reason, he never directly asked her about it. Next, James takes Keon through different sections of his mind, where various moments from his life are playing out. Keon witnesses all of James's past events and feels deep sorrow for the torment James endured. Keon tries to communicate with Park, the part of James's mind representing his innocent childhood, to get some insight. But Fen, Park's sister, blocks him from learning Ciara's location. Then Keon enters a cinema hall inside James's subconscious, and finally, he comes face to face with the personality responsible for killing everyone. And shockingly, it's himself. It turns out that James's mind is so twisted that anyone who enters starts thinking like a killer. Once Keon entered James's mind, their consciousness merged. Even though Keon had been a devoted husband, the merged mind started to suspect Ciara, thinking she might betray him. This dark, jealous part of Keon's merged personality became the killer side, systematically eliminating all of James's good personalities, the very parts that could have eventually revealed Ciara's location. Now, knowing everything, Keon tries to fight his evil personality, hoping to save Park and escape the subconscious maze, but the evil side is incredibly strong, easily overpowering him. Keon realizes he can't defeat this darkness alone, so he calls out to Park, instructing him to escape immediately and inform the police of Ciara's real location. Park agrees and runs to carry out the mission. Meanwhile, the evil Keon drags the real Keon into a dark, shadowy place where an intense battle begins. Just as it looks like the real Keon might win, another evil version of himself appears, proving that the darkness inside him may never truly die. Outside, the rain has intensified and the water has risen to Ciara's neck. Suddenly, a desperate idea strikes Keon. If he sacrifices his own life, the evil personality will die with him. Acting on this, he shoots himself. The moment he does, the evil personality vanishes. Back in the real world, James wakes up from his coma but now. He behaves like Park, calm, good-natured, and scared. He immediately tells the military where Ciara is, allowing her to be rescued just in time. However, when Ciara learns that Keon is still trapped inside his subconscious mind as a result of the experiment, she is heartbroken. In the final scene, we see Keon stuck in an endless tunnel inside his own mind, the same kind of tunnel he had entered to save James, and that's where the story ends.
And that wraps up today's story. Now we want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments, and let's see how far these stories reach. If this story moved you or gave you chills, give it a like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories. One last thing, rate the story from 1 to 10 in the comments. Your feedback helps us bring you even better ones next time. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you being part of this storytelling journey.